This is 1 hour to stop winging it on social media. A series geared towards medical, health, and wellness professionals to reassess their social media and see what they need to improve. This video comes with a free downloadable guide. So if you haven't done so, click the link below and you'll be able to get the guide so we could do this together. If you're always wondering, oh my God, what to post? How should I post this? How do I film this? What should I post about? Why would anyone care? Relax, because that's why we're here. Let's talk about creating a 5-post mini plan. Hi, my name is Jessie D of Socially by Jessie D, and welcome to video 3 of 1 hour to stop winging it on social media. If you haven't done so, go back to videos 1 and 2 because it's a process, right? We got to see what we've been doing with our audit and see where we need to keep doing what we're doing and what needs improvement. We talked about our goals, who we're talking to, what we want to offer them, who's our ideal client, and what our goals are on social media. And now it's getting real. We're starting to plan that content. First things first, I want you to realize that we need consistency. But consistency doesn't mean posting every day, multiple times a day. I know many content creators, as you can see, like the major ones outside of our niches, post every day. Like in the medical profession, you think about Dr. Miami posting all that stuff. No. Consistency means posting consistently. So it means like if your schedule allows up to only posting 2 times a week, as long as you make those 2 times a week, you're consistent. Ideally, we want to be posting within the 3 times a week range, but sometimes is what we can do. Also, if you're posting consistently and as long as your content is intentional based on the goals that you had from the previous video, then 2 to 3 times a week is perfect. Within my step 3, I've said 5 posts, which again is around 2 weeks of content. So let's say you plan out your content, and we'll go into the types of content first, but let's say you plan it out. Maybe you can post 2 posts in the first week, 3 posts the next week. That's 2 weeks worth of content. Boom, done, we're good. And then you can always reassess to see what felt good, what you want to do more of, or what you want to do less of. I'm going to give you 5 types of content that does well on social media. And of course, as I said, you can always mix them up. You can always do less, do more of that kind of content, but usually having a mix is the best way to ensure that you're putting your information out there in a consistent manner. So let's go through those 5 types. Number 1, teach someone something. What this type of content does is shares value to someone that might not have had it. I want to emphasize here that you have to put your own spin on this type of content. Because keep in mind, in this age of technology and information, people can find all this type of info on Google. They can ask ChatGPT. So if you're going to educate someone on something, it should be in a way that is valuable to them, that they don't think like, oh, I could look this up online and scroll past your post. Some examples that I have written here is that nutritionist, 3 signs your gut health might be affecting your mood and what to do about it. Yes, this is something that you could search online, but maybe the information that you put out there is something that you've experienced as a nutritionist. Another example that I have is what your dentist wishes you knew about flossing and why twice a year isn't enough. So this provides education and you're teaching someone something, but also it could be like a funny antidote, as you know, with dentists. Like most people when they have a dentist appointment are like, oh man, I haven't flossed in 15 years. I'm going to the dentist today. Let me just floss really quick and hopefully they don't notice. And you could be like, we notice, like you're not fooling anyone. So in these examples, it is educational, but you're putting your own spin on it in a way that lets people know. It gives you a little bit of personality as well as teaches someone something. The next type of content you could post is a show behind the scenes. So in this type of content, you're letting people see your office, see the space you're going to walk into, show people how you're going to set up, so on and so forth. In this way, you're building trust because people can see the magic happens before they come into your office. So be it like a setup of your office, how you make people feel comfortable when they come there. Some examples I have here is a peek of how I prep for a new nutritionist client. Here's what I do to review for our first session. This shows like, hey, as a nutritionist, you're taking care into making sure that you're truly prepared for that first client, as well as showing that the extra steps you take as a nutritionist. Another example I have here is what a therapy intake form actually helps me understand about a new client. As people, as clients, we go to an office and you're like, oh my God, why do I have to answer all these questions? It's so annoying. By making this type of piece of content, you're letting people know, like, okay, it's not frivolous. We want to make sure that I'm truly providing you the best care. So you're showing people where your mind is so they can feel at ease when they come to you and they can make an informed decision about if they want to choose you as their new doctor, new therapist, so on and so forth. Next one, reintroduce yourself. We all think, and that's something that's common across the board when it comes to content. A lot of people think that they post one video about themselves, who they are, what they do, and so on and so forth. And they think like, okay, well, I did it once, I don't have to do it again. There are billions, literal billions of users or accounts on most social media platforms. Your first introduction video might get lost in the sauce. So, in that being said, reintroducing yourself is totally fine. Making a new video when you're like, hey, I'm Dr. So and so, and this is why I got into internal medicine. And some other examples I have, if you're new here, I'm a licensed specialist in anxiety and burnout for high achieving professionals. And also, not to go so deep into content types, but you can also talk about it, or you can put a B-roll with text on the screen. There's examples doing that. Let me know if you want to dive deeper into that. The next piece of content that I like to work with, this is really easy, is asking a question. It gets you to get to know your audience. And number two, it really works well for engagement. And these pieces of content, it's an easy piece of content that you don't have to think about. Sometimes when creating our content, we want to think about these big, elaborate content streams, but sometimes asking a simple question to get people to know, to get to know your potential clients also works as well. Examples I have here is what is harder for you, starting a new habit or sticking with it. And then you could have a fun one. Like, be honest, when was the last time you went to the dentist? No judgment here. Yeah, these are pieces of content that works all types of ways. All right, the next piece of content that works is share a client win or story. And I know what you're saying. HIPAA, how are we going to do this? No, when it comes to these stories, of course, you want to make sure that you are not violating anyone's HIPAA, but you could, of course, say stories in a way that avoids any kind of pertinent patient information. You could talk about it in a way that how it led towards you doing certain decisions in your practice, so on and so forth. Some examples here that, again, don't violate HIPAA and still gives a lot of information that you could still share with someone is, my client came to me exhausted, bloated, and told by her doctor everything was fine. 8 weeks later, she has more energy than she had in years. Here's what changed. Again, I didn't mention the client's name. I didn't mention any kind of pertinent information. And because the story is so intriguing, you're like, oh, like for a potential person, I'm bloated and I don't have any energy. What changed? So it piques their interest and want to hear your story. So this works. Also, when it comes to these stories, if you are still staying within HIPAA, you could ask permission to a patient to say like, hey, I want to tell you a story. I wouldn't mention your name. Would you mind if I talked about your experience? And get their permission, of course, before you go about it. Especially if they feel like you really did help them, then I'm sure they won't mind. These people aren't specifically looking for a doctor. Like, oh yeah, I guess, whatever. They want to make sure that they connect with you. They want to make sure that they feel safe with you and, with their medical problem or their health problem or mental health problem. So now since we've gone through all the types of content you can create, write some ideas down for each type of content. Number one, what's something simple that you can teach? Go ahead, take a second to write it down. And of course, you can pause and back. Number two, show something behind the scenes. What's something in your office that will make someone comfortable? preparing for a client? Is it showing people your waiting room? Think about what that is, write it down, and some ideas that you can go with that. Pause if you need to. Number 3, reintroduce yourself. Going back to one of our goals and something you want to highlight. Maybe you want to reintroduce yourself with that thing you want to highlight for the month or for the 3 months. Write that down. Number 4, ask a question. It could be a question just as simple as my example before, when was the last time you went to the dentist? Or a very introspective question to get potential patients and clients thinking about themselves or connecting something within themselves that makes them need your service or your medical care. And last one, sharing a client win or story. Of course, thinking about a client that you were able to help. Of course, not going in violating HIPAA, and making sure that that client's story can translate into a win for a potential patient or client. So you wrote down all your ideas and your content, and guess what? This is at least 2 weeks worth of content, especially if you didn't have anything before. A fun thing is that you can make 5 of one piece of content, 5 of another piece of content, 5, 5, 5, and guess what? You have multiple weeks of content. Everyone, we are almost at our 4th and final video, where it's putting everything that we've done together, doing the synergy hands, putting everything together to make sure that you have a stable and consistent content calendar. No burnout, no overthinking what to post, just everything in a nice and simple way. I'm excited to join you in that last video. But of course, if you want a little bit more personalized help, book a discovery call with me. The link is below, and we could talk about some ways that I can help you. But until then, I will catch you in the next video. Bye.